learning a visionary leader dedicated to empowering young minds with coding skills. Also co-hosting today is Dami, the CEO of Dama King Events. She's also the founder of Immigrants at Large Canada, a nonprofit dedicated to empowering and supporting immigrants. So Wale, please feel free to take over.
All right. Thank you for that introduction, Coyote. So good afternoon, everyone. Good evening. Good morning. Hi to everyone out there. It is nice to have everybody join us today for this program. Like Coyote has said, my name is Wale Ketiku, and I would be taking the lead as the anchor for this program. But with me, I have other co-hosts and moderators that will be working with us, to ensure that we have a seamless program. Amongst our team is I want to mention some of our moderators that will be managing the program with me. Like Coyote mentioned earlier, we have Dami. I have Coyote himself, Coyote Siddiq. There's Abimbola Akinoye, Obina Anusiem, Mr. Adirunke, and Mr. Ayo Ariyo as moderators. So to start with, we have a lot of items lined for this program. We have very high-profile individuals, Nigerians, doing well, in their various spaces, who will be joining us, as speakers. We have our minister, His Excellency, that would also be joining us. We have our chairman from NITCOM, who will be a part of this program. I would mention them as time moves forward. We will be introducing them as they give their keynote addresses. But before we start, I would like for us to take a stand virtually for the national anthems of both Nigeria and Canada. So I will be playing it virtually, and we will proceed immediately after this. Please, so rise virtually, like I said, for the national anthem of Canada and Nigeria, respectively.
Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. Though tribes and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians all are proud to serve our sovereign motherland. Our flag shall be a symbol that truth and justice reign. In peace, oh, battle honored, and this we count as gain. To hand unto our children a banner without stain. O God of all creation, grant these our one request. Help us to build a nation where no man is oppressed, and so with peace and plenty, Nigeria may be blessed.
everyone. So I will be stopping the sharing here as we proceed to the program proper. Now, the very essence why we are all here today is for us to discuss investments in the agricultural sector of Nigeria. We have, like I said, our Honorable Minister of Agriculture and Food Security in Nigeria, His Excellency Senator Abubakar Kyari. We have other keynote speakers who will be joining us for this program. But before we move ahead, I would like to mention some housekeeping rules. We need to, know how we want to, organize and run the program proper. One of the things I would like to mention is, the speakers will be speaking for between 5 and 30 minutes, depending on who is speaking at every point in time. We want to ensure, please, you keep your mics muted if you are not speaking. Again, if you have messages or you have questions for the Q&As, we expect you to drop them in chat box, and then one of the moderators would come up to pass it on to the speaker or to the person in charge at the time. One other item for housekeeping that we need to take note of is that we need to maintain professionalism and ensure decorum while we have these sessions. We're happy to have everyone here. We are excited to have you here. We are happy because you've actually taken time out to be here. We thank our ministers, ambassadors. We have our NITCOM chairman and other keynote speakers who will be presenting today. We're happy to have you. Because we're going to learn a lot. We're going to learn a lot on the value chain system, how agric has been or is of value, to us, and why we need to invest in it. To start with, I want to pass on for the first introduction to my able moderator, Mrs. Elizabeth Omoshebi.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Damilola Omoshebi. I'm just going to go straight to introducing the next speaker for the event for today. We're going to be introducing a welcome speech by the president of Kampe Health Plan, who by the name is Dr. Joseph Olowe. Now you'll be having 5 minutes to do the welcome speech. Back to you, Dr. Joseph Olowe. Is he there? Dr. Joseph Olowe, can you hear us?
Okay, thank you so much. I'm here. My mic is just being enabled.
Okay,
Good evening.
perfect.
So, as
You
I've
have
been
5 minutes,
introduced,
sir.
yeah, I'm Dr. Joseph Olowe. Good evening, everyone. All protocol duly observed. We welcome our Honorable Minister of Agriculture, His Excellency Senator Abubakar Kyari, Nigeria High Commissioner, Ambassador Abike Zanna, and NITCOM, our own very NITCOM CEO, Honorable Abike Dabiri-Erewa, government dignitaries, other distinguished guests, investors, and all esteemed guests to this town hall meeting focused on the agricultural crucial sector of the agriculture. We are gathered here today to engage in constructive discussions, share valuable insight, and explore collaborative opportunity to drive positive growth and innovation in agricultural industry. Your presence here signifies a shared commitment to the development of sustainable agricultural practices, the empowerment of local farmers, and the promotion of food security within our community, Nigeria. Together, we have the potential to shape a brighter future of our region and create a lasting impact for generations to come. I encourage all of us to actively participate, exchange ideas, and share your visions for a prosperous and thriving agricultural landscape. Let us work hand in hand towards building a robust agricultural sector that nurture both our land and our people. I firmly believe there is a strong correlation between health and food. Neglecting one while focused on the other can have a detrimental effect on our people and nation. It is imperative that doctors and farmers collaborate closely to ensure the well-being of our beloved country, Nigeria. Investors play a crucial role in reshaping the development landscape of both fields, presenting a golden opportunity for transformation. Thank you once again for being a part of this important gathering. Let us harness the power of collaboration and knowledge sharing to drive meaningful change and elevate the agricultural industry to a new height. May our collective effort pave the way for a sustainable and a prosperous future. Our sincere gratitude to King Wale Ade of Nigerian Canadian Business Network and Mr. Adejorin Tai Manuel for their role in organizing this August event. Welcome to this town hall meeting on agriculture. Together, let us sow the seeds of progress and reap the harvest of success. Thank you for having me deliver this welcome speech.
Okay,
Thank
you very much. Okay.
Go ahead, please, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Lowe. It's nice hearing from you. Very wonderful speech there. Thank you very much, sir. The next person that will be giving us his message is the Nigerian High Commissioner, the Acting Nigerian High Commissioner to Canada, Ambassador Abike Zanna. I would like to read just a short brief, and citation for the ambassador. It is with great honor that I introduce our Acting High Commissioner of Nigeria in Canada, His Excellency Ambassador Abike Zanna, a seasoned diplomat with extensive experience in international affairs. Ambassador Zanna has served in the Federal Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Nigeria, as well as other diplomatic missions across the globe. His strategic insight and dedication to strengthening Nigeria-Canada relations make him an invaluable leader in our diplomatic space. As Nigeria's Acting High Commissioner to Canada, he has remained committed to fostering bilateral partnerships and engaging with the Nigerian community in Canada to create lasting diplomatic and economic impacts. Everyone, help me in welcoming our wonderful ambassador and High Commissioner to Canada, Ambassador Zanna. You're welcome, sir. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Let me please start by acknowledging the presence of our Honorable Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Abubakar Kyari, CON. May I also acknowledge the presence of my boss, Ambassador Akeremi Bolaji, Director, Economic Trade and Investment, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Honorable Abike Dabiri-Erewa, Chairperson and CEO, Nigeria Diaspora Commission, members and leadership of Nigeria-Canada Business Network, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. I am pleased to be part of this special Diaspora Town Hall meeting on investing in Nigeria's agricultural sector, organized by Nigerian and Canada Business Network with support from Camper Health Plant. This is a very commendable initiative from the Nigerian and Canada Business Network. The agricultural sector in Nigeria has the largest growth potential, both for export and domestic consumption, and it offers good return on investment. Nigeria has a land mass of over 900,000 square kilometers, of which a greater part of it is arable, blazed with good climatic conditions. In terms of accessibility to market, Nigeria is a gateway to both Central and West African markets. We have one of the best diversified vegetation, ranging from swamp in the south and semi-arid in the north, with abundant skilled labor force. Demographically, Nigeria has a population of over 200 million people and is projected to be the fourth populous country in the world by 2050. This anticipated growth in population must have a corresponding increase in food production to feed the population and export to keep the economy moving. The administration of His Excellency, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is determined to unleash the potentials of agriculture to create wealth. The administration is promoting a new policy which sees agriculture as a business with a focus on encouraging and enabling the private sector to invest massively in agricultural sector. Happily, the Honorable Minister of Agriculture and Food Security is here with us and will provide more insight on some of the policies and intervention by the administration. Our diaspora community is the target group for this meeting. You are a reservoir of human capital with vast technical expertise and exposure to global best practices. Your participation and investment in agri sector in Nigeria will make a great difference. I'm aware our sister Honorable Abike Dabiri-Erewa is doing a great job through the Diaspora Investment Summit, showcasing and exploring several investment opportunities in Nigeria. Some of the prosperous countries, especially like China and India, use the diaspora as a source of foreign direct investment, trade linkages, knowledge and technology transfer. Let us take a cue from them. Finally, let me also use this opportunity to congratulate the Honorable Minister of Agriculture and Food Security on his election as the Vice Chairman of the Governing Council of the International Fund for Development, a United Nations specialized agency dedicated to alleviating rural poverty and enhancing agricultural development globally. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Zanna. Thank you for that wonderful speech. We appreciate the speech, and it's quite we learn every day, and I've been able to pick one or two things from the speech you just gave. So I would be calling on my next moderator, Abimbola Akinoye, to introduce our very next speaker. Please go ahead, Bimbo.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for the opportunity. I have the honor and privilege of introducing the Nigerian Diaspora Commission Chairman and CEO, Honorable Abike Dabiri-Erewa. A brief bio on her: she's the chairperson and CEO of the Nigerian Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, a government agency focused on engaging and supporting Nigerians abroad, and she's also an advocate for diaspora affairs. With so much honor and privilege, let's just welcome Honorable Abike Dabiri-Erewa as she delivers her address at this time. Thank you. Over to you, Ma.
Can you all hear me?
Yes, Ma, we can.
Yes,
Okay, good evening. How are you? Nice to be with you this evening. Honorable Minister, good evening. Our Ambassador, good evening and congratulations. Ambassador Bolaji, a very evening here, afternoon. And to all participants, Honorable Tara, representing NIDCOM. My brothers and sisters, nice to be with you this evening. And I want to start by thanking the NCBN for putting this together. This is what we require from the diaspora community: connection, working together, collaboration. So I'm glad you're putting this together. And of course, we've been part of NCBN, all your activities we participate. So I thank you for leading the way. And I want to thank you particularly, Nigerians in Canada, for making us so proud. I mean, I keep saying, that we have perhaps the very best communities of Nigerians in Canada. Just this afternoon, I was with the Deputy High Commissioner, who I've just resumed a few months ago in Lagos, and there's a huge plan, something really, really big in Canada, maybe next year. Honorable Tara was in Canada, and we've profiled Nigerian businesses in Canada, and honestly, we're so impressed. All this we'll put on our website. You know, Canada is always the first for us, profiling the businesses. And then Canada has also come together, a group of them, and I'm sure the ambassador, thank you, ambassador, for the support, came together and put together all the associations in Canada, almost about 64. So how do we all work together? I think that is the key thing. So NCBN, thank you for putting this together. And like the ambassador said, His Excellency, we do have the Diaspora Investment Summit, of which the NCBN have been a very, very active participant, where we encourage Nigerians to come home and invest in their country. And I'm very proud that Nigerians are investing in agriculture, healthcare, ICT, the food business and education. Now, we are your embassy in Nigeria, and what we do for you is, make it easier for you, working with Ambassador Bolaji, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So, at the end of this conversation, let's take practical steps. This is about agriculture. You have a minister who, well, as a former senator, somebody I respect so much, understands what it is that the Bola Tinubu administration, renewed agenda wants to achieve in agriculture. So for you in the diaspora, say, what can you do? Where can you invest? It is for us to make it easier and better for you. When we were in Canada last time, the governor of Niger State said, look, I have land for you. The land is waiting for you guys. It's just for you to say, this is what you want to do. And, everything will be put in place. So thank you for putting this together. I look forward to the outcome of this conversation and how we can say Nigerians in the diaspora have invested in the agri sector. Nigeria is waiting for you. Nigeria is ready for you. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the number one friendly diaspora president you can think of, because he himself was a diaspora. So I look forward to this conversation. Honorable Terab is here to follow up. We will ensure that whatever is decided here, we'll work with the ministry to ensure that we take practical steps to encourage you, the diaspora. So let's have a good conversation. Thank you, Nigerians in Canada. I appreciate you. You're simply the best anywhere in the world. And we look forward to a great very much, and God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Auntie Abike, as I would like to call you, as I used to call you behind your back, you may not want to put on one, but I know you're doing very wonderfully well. The NIDCOM itself as it is, has been something that has helped, to bring, bridge the gap, between diasporans and then Nigeria. That way we don't forget, where we're coming from. We don't, just, forget that we have a place where we actually, emanated from as it is. So thank you very much for that wonderful speech. One of the things I think I would like to mention before I call the next moderator and then they call the next speaker is the fact that I think where the Nigeria as itself, we don't want to be too much dependent on imports, especially as regards agriculture. If we are not, there are areas we may not be strong on or strong in, but I strongly believe that in the area of agriculture, we should not be found wanting. We should be so much more dependent, we should be able to feed ourselves, one, and also be able to feed, the Western region. I don't believe that, we have a country where, we have a 12-month season. In Canada here, we all know what happened recently when snow, once there's snow, there's no agriculture happening. And these guys are able to, provide food all year round. Okay, now that there's food scarcity that is affecting the whole of, the Committee of Nations everywhere. I mean, when you hear that food are expensive, it's not just in Nigeria, it's everywhere. Okay, it's everywhere. Even here in Canada, you know how much, if you take $100 to the grocery store, we know how much of grocery we can get. But nowadays, we know how much of grocery you can get with the same $100. So it cuts across board. And I see it as it is an opportunity now for us to invest heavily in a country like Nigeria, where we can, actually, produce food all year round. I know that maybe having little challenges here and there, like mechanization and things like that. But I mean, with all of us, with the knowledge we have, with our experience, we do biotechnology, we have people of very high capacities here, who understands biotechnology, who understands technology that can be brought into the agricultural sector. It would help. That's a way of giving back to our society, where we come from. So once again, thank you very much, Auntie Abike. Really nice seeing you, and for that wonderful speech too. So I'd like to call on the next, my next moderator in the person of Mr. Obinna Anusiem. He would be introducing the next keynote speaker. Please go ahead.
Okay. Yes. Yes. Thank you, Wale. And greetings, everyone from California, sunny California out here. It's my first, I'd like to stand on existing protocols and thank all of our distinguished speakers. It's been an interesting conversation so far. I have the honor of introducing Mr. Tony Kayo Ajayi, who has a rich entrepreneurial history that has spanned Nigeria and Canada. Reading through his bio, I see that he started farming with his grandfather from when he was 5 years old and learned traditional African farming practices. And since then, he settled in Canada and moved into dairy farming, where he's gained a wealth of knowledge about Canadian farming practices. For over 15 years, he's been mentoring Black farmers to enter into the Canadian agriculture industry. And also, since 2019, he has also spearheaded a groundbreaking agricultural project called the Katakata Africa Village Project, where he has successfully experimented growing African cultural vegetables and herbs in Canada. He's taken a leadership role in advocating for Black farmers and Black food sovereignty in Canada. And he also founded the Canadian Black Farmers Association, the only Black agricultural association in Canada. Very remarkable story. So it's with great pleasure and honor that I introduce Mr. Tony Kayo Ajayi.
Thank you very much for having me here. With a great honor, I'm very delighted that this kind of platform is available for we Nigerians here in Canada. I've been introduced. I've been a Canadian Black farm. I've been a farmer in Canada for about 22 years, and I own my own farms in Canada. And for the past 15 years, I've been trying to educate and empower our Black community general in Canada. I live in BC, and we can know that BC, we are very fortunate. We have 5.5 to 6 months, not just 5 months in a year to grow anything naturally, like our tropical crops and vegetables from Nigeria. I would do something a little bit different. I love the concept of we in diaspora coming home to invest in agriculture. But I want to do a little bit swing, taking outside the box and seeing the system, how it worked here, and talking to a lot of people. A lot of people, we that are in our diaspora, I know we are very few number. Well, right now in Canada, we have 0.02% Black farmer in this whole Canada. And I just found out that only 3 or 4 Black people in Canada has farm status. I'm the only one in the Western Canada, and I think the rest is between the New Brunswick and the eastern part of Canada. What I saw in Canada is there's a lot of opportunity here. I want to take a different approach. Here in Canada, since it's possible for us to be able to grow this, although it's not like a popular thing, but I want our government to look at something. And I spoke about this on Channels TV last week. See, we that are in diaspora, one of our major problems is what we look at is security in Nigeria and the support and everything that we might get. You see, here, the support I'm getting from our own government, growing our own cultural food in Canada, it's immense. During this, I will give you one example that happened last week. Because of the tariff threat from US, the Canadian Ministry of Agriculture federally, they set up a meeting with me, direct from the federal. They said, Mr. Kayo, what are the things that you need? to support you and to keep going and in trying to empower and bring more people into this agricultural sector. This is not the first time. It's almost like they get in touch with me quarterly. I would love our Nigerian government also to do that with our farmers. You know, I know if we farm back home, we bring the food here. But let's put that one on the side. The food that we are bringing here, Nigeria we don't even produce enough. We don't grow enough food in Nigeria to support our own our population. Half of those is coming to Canada here or other Western world. Why can't we do it this way? I'm going to employ our government. Let's just think this way. Let's take out all the box. Let's say our government have a direct, maybe indirect investment in weed that's in abroad here. When you look at something that's happening globally, we talk about, oh, Afrobeat is global. Not only Afrobeat is global, our food is more global than the Afrobeat music now. When you talk about food here, every African country eats Nigerian food. We all know this. We live here. We know this. Jamaicans, every one of them, they eat our food now. What if we can just focus on our just basic vegetables and grow it here? And when we grow it here, the population, the market, we have the market for it, even locally here. I'm just talking about investing with we in the diaspora here. And then we create something called repatriative investment. Because many Nigerians in abroad, whenever we make money here, we want to do a lot of things back home. Like me, I set up a template of this. I have over hundreds of acres of farm in Nigeria. I refuse to let any of my brothers come to Canada. They can focus on that one. I focus on this, growing it and supporting our local demand here. The demand we have here is huge. The opportunity is even here too, but we don't look at it. I have a family here. I saw it. As I'm farming here, let's just imagine 1,000 Nigerians are farming across Canada. The type of support the government gives us here, if many of us like that can share that too, and also indirectly investing back home with that. It's a two-way stream. There'll be crops. There are many crops we can't grow in Canada that can still come from Nigeria. But the one locally, our basic vegetables, just vegetables. If the market can be established and support we that are planning to come to the agriculture industry in the diaspora, it's a big thing. I have people messaging me from Germany, US, UK. Even I have people came from UK say, what you are doing, can we replicate it in UK? Because we don't have enough. Because some of those who want to get here, I'll tell you what, when they import it here, some of them is not even allowed to go into the market because the custom would just destroy because it's not edible. But if you grow locally here, if you are supported locally here, do you know the standard and everything is already there? Because of food, they will say, oh, the standard they are making this in Nigeria is not enough. I don't have enough time to talk about this. I would love to engage more about this. There's so much to say. The time we have is we have to talk here is very constrained, and I don't want to take too much of our time. And I would love to be more engaged with this, either with our leaders in Canada, our ambassador, and all our important dignitaries. I thank Mr. King Wale for what he's doing. He's a father to me, and he's been in touch with me since we met, since he contacted me about this. I thank everybody, and I hope with this platform, greater things will be done. But let's just look both ways, there and we that are in diaspora here, because more security, more opportunity and support we have here. Why? Let us announce that. Let's think like the way Chinese and Indians do. Their government indirectly invest in them to establish here, to support their population, create job. We can do that too. And then we repatriate the money we make. We know we don't want to send money back home. Let's think about that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ajayi, T.K. Ajayi. Thank you for that wonderful speech. This is a different perspective as to, but I mean, it's always good, to say things from different views. So I'm happy that you brought that up. One of the things you mentioned, which I also have taken note of, is the fact that we seem to, the Nigerian in diaspora, I won't totally blame us, but I want to believe that because we are so used to African food, we refuse to eat other foods from, for example, in Canada and the US, we refuse to eat those foods. And because they have to take those foods away from Nigeria, we are the one making them hungry in Nigeria. So it's a good way I mean, that's another perspective to say things. So we need to do more. We need to grow more. The land is there. There's so much, just like you mentioned, 5 months to grow in Canada, and they are still able to, sustain the value chain. So I believe that with a country like Nigeria, where we have 12 months of farming, all year round farming. Nigeria is such a country. I remember back then, I was opportune to work with the former President Olusegun Obasanjo, on the farm for about 6 years before I relocated. And I had some of the Chinese guys that were working with us. They were just so surprised that you throw things on the ground and it grows. It looked alien to them. It looked alien that you just throw things and it just grows like that. You guys are lucky. They were my Chinese friends back in the day. So what I'm just trying to say in essence is we have a whole lot of opportunity, and the good thing is agriculture as it is such that it is the basics of life. Agriculture, it is the basics of life. The clothes we wear is gotten from agric. I mean, if we all remember that, the cotton, even the houses we live, for those of us that live in houses, it's also agric products, that give us all of these things. So I mean, there's a whole value chain that can be harnessed, and I believe by the time our Honorable Minister speaks, we will be able to get a lot of much more information on areas that we can actually invest in Nigeria. I would like to call on our my next moderator to announce the next speaker, and that will be Honorable Akin Odunto, to introduce the next speaker. You can go ahead, sir.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Anyway, I just said that my name is not honorable. I simply Akin Odunto. I'm a business ambassador to the Mayor of Brampton, and also a member of the NCBA. Thank you so much for the privilege, and I want to thank our honorable chairman, King Wale, for this great event put together. I want to also appreciate all the dignitaries on the platform, or the Honorable Minister, His Excellency, the Acting Ambassador in the Nigerian High Commission, and also Ambassador Akinremi, my Honorable Abike Dabiri, who is I always call her mother of the diasporans. So once again, I want to thank everyone on the platform, all protocols observed. Our next speaker is Dil Vashi of the Sustainable Incorporation in Canada. He is a vice president of the Sustainable Incorporation in Canada. Dil is a friend, and also is a company that I know who are in the agricultural products. Dil was born and raised in Zambia, so he knows about African agricultural business, and he has always ensuring his ventures to business in Africa, and Nigeria in particular, because of Nigeria is the biggest country in Africa. His experience with the startup companies includes biotech, also nutritional health, and of course, his current business in agriculture. Dee will be able to say about 6 sustainable companies in Canada who are in and the agricultural products they are into. So over to Dee Varsity. Thank you.
Thank you, Akin. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we can.
Yes,
Okay.
please.
All right, great. First of all, thank you for inviting me to this forum and for everybody taking the time this afternoon and evening in Nigeria to join. It really makes me happy to see these types of diaspora forums. I'm also quite heavily involved in our own Zambian diaspora forum and discussion boards with issues between Kenya, Canada and Zambia. So I'm very happy to be a part of what you are doing in Nigeria as well. So I was hoping I could do a quick 5-minute presentation of what our company does and how we can help the market in Nigeria. So you'll give me 1 second to let me share the screen. I believe the screen should be visible on your computers.
Yes,
Yes, it is.
Okay, great. So Sustainable Inc., we're a Canadian precision ag tech and climate tech company, and we focus our business on greenhouse vegetable crops in particular. And the benefits that we provide, of course, to our customers who are the greenhouse growers is increasing of their yields, their profits, reducing their CO2 emissions, and also, of course, making money. Now, I did a little bit of research on the Nigeria greenhouse market after I met Akin at a function in Brampton, and I was pleasantly surprised to see how big it actually is. Nigeria currently has about 1,000 hectares of greenhouses, and these are greenhouses that are producing essentially vegetables. So typically they would produce tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, lettuce, and various herbs. The estimated production right now is about 250,000 metric tons of food. Most of them are low-tech greenhouses, but there are some high-tech greenhouses as well. For example, there's one called Wells Hossa Greenhouse in Benin City, which is about 17 hectares under plastic, and they produce over 4,000 tons of vegetables per year. But there is a growing market in Nigeria, and some of it is temperature, nutrients, water, and CO2, carbon dioxide. So light is typically given by the sun. In Nigeria, you have good weather, as you've mentioned already, 12 months of the year, sunny climate, good temperature, lots of water, irrigation. But CO2 is always a problem when it comes to greenhouses. And the reason is, if you can increase the amount of CO2 gas in the atmosphere of a greenhouse by 3 times, from 400 parts per million to 1,200 parts per million, can increase production of those plants by up to 30%. But this is really only possible in greenhouses in cold climates like in Canada, where they will literally pump the gas into the greenhouse to increase the concentration in the air. However, even in Canada, in the warm months, the temperature in the greenhouse starts to rise. And of course, in places like Nigeria and really anywhere 40 degrees north and south of the equator, it's always warm and the greenhouse temperatures always are high. So the way the greenhouse has to manage this temperature is open the windows, really what they call venting. By opening the windows, out goes the warm air, but also out goes the CO2 that's in that air. And so you have a situation where plants that are grown in greenhouses in warm countries are always short on CO2 gas. And without optimal CO2, the production of these plants is always at least 30% lower than what it potentially could be. So this is the problem that we solve. We do this with our technology, which is basically we take CO2 gas, we infuse it into water to create a CO2 solution in the water, and you spray it onto the plants. And by spraying it onto the plants, you don't lose that CO2 out through the windows, because the CO2 goes directly onto the plants, where the plants absorb that CO2, and it's able to use that extra CO2 for more photosynthesis, which is the process by which plants grow. And of course, more photosynthesis means more growth. So the benefits to growers, regardless of where they are in the world, if they're able to increase their CO2 in their plants, they're able to increase their yields or their production by up to 30%, reduce their input costs, for example, the amount of water, energy, nutrients that they're applying to the plants. They're able to reduce those input costs by up to 30% per kilo of production. And of course, higher production, lower costs means more profits. And for many of our customers, this can, in some cases, mean doubling of their profits, which in many ways transforms the business. And of course, benefits to Nigeria and society as a whole, but focusing on Nigeria, is increased food production. So if all 1,000 hectares in Nigeria used our technology, we could increase food production in Nigeria just from the current greenhouses by over 50,000 metric tons per year, which the average human consumes about 100 kilos of peppers, tomatoes, cucumbers, lettuce per year. That's enough to feed 500,000 people, already more from the greenhouse that are currently there. And of course, more profitability, more production means greater opportunity for greenhouses that are already established to grow and expand their businesses. Now, we do business around the world. So we're Canadian-based. Myself, I'm born and raised in Zambia. I went to school in the US. I live in Canada, so I consider myself a very international person. And so one of our key business strategies is to be international. And so we work anywhere through the Americas, North, South America. We have projects in Morocco. We have partnerships and projects in South Africa. We now have a partnership with Akin in Nigeria, Saudi Arabia, and the UK. So we have no problems working anywhere in the world, which would as well include Nigeria. And so, as I said before, we have a partnership with Akin, and we're looking forward to working with the greenhouse growers in Nigeria.
All right. Thank you very much for that very insightful presentation, Dio. It's really nice having you here. Really appreciate that.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Speaking of technology, biotechnology and all of that, I think adding value chain, value added, content, to the things that we produce. I'm talking about, back to agriculture now. About when we produce things in Nigeria, we usually just take them as is. For example, we have cocoa, and it takes a number of years. It's a perennial product that takes years to mature. And then all we do, the same way when we used to have our refineries, and we have our crude oil and we have to ship them out, to get finished products. The same way we were, but thank God now we now have our modular refineries. We have one of the largest refineries in the world. Everything working, our refineries are good. So the same thing I think we want to apply to, to the agri sector, where, instead of sending these cocoa pods, the cocoa leaves abroad, and then they send us trucks. We want to have, those, the technology to be able to actually produce this chocolates and then ship the final products abroad. It adds a lot of, it costs, we have a lot more to earn, as Forex, as compared to just sending raw products. It's not just for cocoa, it has so many other ones. So thank you very much for the insights there. I believe we'll be able to, start implementing more technologies, the greenhouses, more technologies that can actually help us, be self-sustaining and also be able to export, our food products. Once again, thank you, Dale. So I would be calling on the next, my next moderator to announce the next speaker. I have here Ms. Aderonke. Ronke, can you?
Hello, everyone.
Right.
Hello, everyone. Standing on all protocols. My name is Aderonke Oshobajo. I myself is a small business owner to two businesses in Nigeria and Canada, and I'm also a PhD student in law and legal studies. Today, I'm honored to introduce to us Ambassador Kyari Bolaji, who is the Director of Economic Trade and Investment Department at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Nigeria. With a wonderful career in diplomacy and international relations, he has played a key role in fostering Nigerians' economic trade and investment partnerships across the globe. His expertise in global economic policies, trade negotiation, and investment facilitations has contributed to strengthening Nigeria's international presence. Ambassador Bolaji's leadership continues to drive initiatives and promote sustainable economic growth and advance Nigeria's development on the world stage. Today, please welcome Ambassador Bolaji. Thank you.
You are muted, sir.
Oh,
Okay.
so sorry.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction, and thank you for inviting me. Let me join my voice to thank the Honorable Minister of Agriculture, Abubakar Kyari, for accepting this challenge to stay up at this time for an online meeting. I thank you so much, sir, for honoring us. You've been working very hard for Nigeria. Let me also thank the Acting High Commissioner for the honor he's done me with kind words. Thank you so much. You are doing a good job since you reported there. We are very proud of you from the ministry. Let me commend the organizers and also particularly King Wale Adesoya for the good job that the NCBC BN is doing. Thank you so much. I must thank Mama Diaspora, as you have all called her, the chairperson of NITCOM and all the NITCOM family. Thank you all for the good job. I would have just said that I endorse the statement of Ambassador Zanna because he said so much about Nigeria. Has also let the cat out of the bag by congratulating the distinguished Senator Abubakar, the Honorable Minister of Agriculture, on that election as the Vice Chair of the International Fund for Development. We trust that you are going to do well and that Nigeria will benefit a lot. For us in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, we're actually here to encourage you tonight that we have seen your great job in Agric and Food Security Ministry. And now that you have opportunity of speaking to our diaspora in Canada, we know that many of them will be coming home to invest. So we want to assure you that as many of them that will need any assistance from our mission or from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs at any time, we will quickly grant that. Let me thank our diaspora. You are very, very encouraged in the way you have treated Nigeria matter. We want you to continue in that light. And thank you all, the Nigerian Canadian diaspora. It's not only the Ministry of Agric that is working on agriculture. We even have states. Only last week, Osun State had a program in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs where we convey a diplomatic briefing on agri-tech. And that's to tell you the position that the federal government and the government of His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu has placed agriculture. Let me use the opportunity to invite you all on April 11 to Osogbo, where the global community will be meeting on agri-tech. We are going to be looking at different aspects of agricultural development. This is going to be very helpful to you. Other information we'll be bringing to you now that we can use this platform to circulate information on diaspora issues, particularly as it relates to investment. We will do that from the Foreign Ministry. I must also say that I'm enthused. I'm really excited by what Mr. TK Ajayi said about swinging, that Nigeria now should come and invest in Canada. We appreciate that. It's interesting. Let us look at it. And I'm sure that the Honorable Minister of Agri will also take that up and see how we can develop it. They say the hand of the giver is always on top. If investing in Canada is going to yield more interest for us, why not? We can share ourselves. There are people who are investing. When I was the High Commissioner in Singapore, that's one of the things I did. I brought Nigeria to invest in Singapore because Singapore has invested a lot in Nigeria. Tolaram, a lot of Indorama, these are all Singaporean companies operating in Nigeria. But today, we also have Nigerian companies investing who have invested in Singapore. Sahara Oil is in Singapore. The oil company by Alaji Dr. Indimi, they invested during my era in Singapore. So it can be both ways. We have no problem with that. But let me say that at this pivotal time, that Nigeria is undergoing transformation or transforming economic policies and reforms under leadership of President Tinubu. It's going to be a great time for our Nigerian diaspora to come and invest in Nigeria because enabling environment has been provided for investment. It's been enhanced. It has always been our target, but now there is a lot of enhancement in terms of the enabling environment for investment. Growth now is something tangible that you can feel. So you are not going to wait for a very long time before you see a return on your investment. In terms of key sectors, particularly agriculture, you can quickly come into that. Of course, the High Commissioner has spoken about arable land, youthful population, and then, of course, growing demand for food security. But apart from that, I think it's going to be a thing of honor for Nigerian diaspora to bring investment home into agriculture because this has been a traditional area. You can modernize. Yeah, there is a lot of unique advantage that you can, because you have access to global best practices, technology, capital, so your contribution can drive innovation, enhance productivity, and create employment, while ensuring food security for millions of Africans, not just Nigeria. So let this seminar serve as a catalyst for meaningful collaboration, just as been said earlier today, an impactful venture that will not only yield returns, but also contribute to Nigeria's sustainable development. So I like to conclude by commending the Nigeria-Canadian Business Network for organizing this timely dialogue and to encourage all participants to explore the weight of opportunities that lie ahead. Together, we can build a stronger, self-sufficient, and prosperous Nigeria. I will like to also say that we are working on direct flight between Nigeria and Canada. The last time we were there around October, we made this promise. Before I left Abuja for Lagos, I'm speaking from Lagos, we have now received the final test from the Canadian side on the MOU on BASA, Bilateral Air Service Agreement. So we are very, very close to it. We are very close to signing. Honorable Minister of Aviation is very keen on this. We are ready from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to collaborate with all our diaspora on any issue that you think will benefit both sides. Please, like I always tell our diaspora, my number is 24 hours available, and we are ready to give information that will benefit you. I must thank you once again, thank every speaker, and I will stay throughout this event, and I will be willing to take questions if there is need for it. But more than anything, once again, I thank distinguished Senator Abubakar Kyari for the honor that he has done. And I'm going to report this to the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs You have always been our collaborator. I know of several meetings that you have ensured that Foreign Affairs is present, and we will continue to collaborate with you. Thank you so much, Nigerian Canadian. God bless.
Wow, that was awesome. Thank you, Ambassador Akinremi Bolaji. Thank you very much for that wonderful speech. We really appreciate you. Thank you very much, sir. So I would like to, before we go on, remind us that if I've not said that before, we would definitely have a Q&A session where we would allow, the members here, the people here, to, ask their questions. I know there will be loads of questions that we want to ask either the ambassador or His Excellency, the Minister, and our other high-profile presenters here today. So what we would do is that you can drop your questions. If we is not able to cover all of them, what we would do is that we would collate them and still get them across to the speakers. And when we get the feedback, we will post them on our NCBN website. So I want to encourage those of us that are not members yet, to join that network. There's a lot of things to gain if you join the Nigerian Canadian Business Network. Again, before I call on the next speaker, I wanted to mention on the very value or the very need for us to invest back in Nigeria. If you notice your peers and, or contemporary, who are, investing in Nigeria, the Chinese are there, other countries are there, investing in various sectors of the economy. Now, just recently, I think maybe last year, we got a foreign investment where we have, a Brazilian company coming into Nigeria to invest in excess of $2 billion. That is a huge sum. So if, I don't know if outsiders are seeing the benefits, how much more those of us that are, directly involved, that should be the ones, we should be the ones at the forefront of pushing these narratives. If we're getting foreign investments coming from other sectors, then we Nigerians, in diaspora, we should also key into this opportunity. So it's something to think about and to ponder on. Like I said, Nigeria is our country. We need to give back. For every investment we do in Nigeria, we're getting somebody employed. All right, we're getting somebody, to have a job. We don't want to keep having, the narrative that even power does we are hungry. If at all we are not doing anything, we should be able to feed ourselves. So I'm going to call on the next I'm going to call on my able moderator again, Mr. Obina Anusem, to introduce the very wonderful next speaker. I'll keep it in the bag until he goes ahead to do that. Thank you very much. Please go ahead, Mr. Obina.
All right, cool. Yes, thank you, Wale. Yes, I didn't introduce myself last time. So my name is Obina Anusem, and I run a marketing and technology company called NGEX, where we focus on providing solutions that help businesses and organizations engage with the Nigerian diaspora. So we provide marketing, research, and data services that help people engage and understand the diaspora. Before I go ahead and introduce the next speaker, I'll just reiterate the house rules that Wale just shared. So after our keynote speaker speaks, there will be a Q&A session. And like Wale said, we'll be taking questions. Some questions have already come in, and we know it's already late in Nigeria, so we'll probably not be able to get to all the questions. Please drop your questions in the chat box. If we don't get to the questions will be collated and sent to the speakers like Wale mentioned, and they will be shared on the NCBN website and WhatsApp chat. Like he suggested, feel free to please join the NCBN WhatsApp, and you will get follow-ups for any questions that were not answered here. So please bear with us if your questions are not asked on this session. Okay. And that said, continue to stand on existing protocols, and thanks to all the speakers that have spoken beforehand. Very engaging conversation so far. It is with great honor and pleasure that I introduce Senator Abubakar Kyari, CON, the Honorable Minister of Agriculture and Food Security of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Senator Kyari, CON, is currently the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security. He represented Borno North Senatorial District in the Senate from 2015 until April 2022, when he resigned to become the APC Deputy National Chairman North. He also briefly acted as the APC National Chairman in 2023, before he was appointed a minister by President Bola Tinubu in August of 2023. He's also been honored with the Commander of the Order of the Niger by President Muhammadu Buhari. And he's also a previous member of the Diaspora with a bachelor's degree from the University of Tennessee, Martin, and an MBA from Webster University, St. Louis. So with that all said, it gives me great pleasure to welcome Senator Abubakar Kyari, CON. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Obina Aslam. Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Rather, I will say good afternoon to you, but for those of us in Nigeria, I will say good evening. First, I would like to acknowledge His Excellency, the Ambassador Abike Zanna, the Ambassador and Nigerian High Commissioner to Canada. Also, my good sister, my friend and partner in this adventure that we're in called politics, the chairman and CEO of Nigerian Diaspora Commission, Honorable Abike Dabiri-Erewa. President of NGX, of course, Mr. Obina, I've recognized you earlier, the Director of Economic Trade and Investment Department, Your Excellency Ambassador Akiremi Alade Bolaji, wonderful person, which I've come across several times, as he said, in some of our meetings we've had between the Federal Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Agriculture. The Vice President of Sea Sustainable, Mr. Dil Vashi, of course, Mr. Tike Ajayi, wonderful farmer in Canada. I would also want to acknowledge King Wale Adesanya, the chairman of the Nigerian Canadian Business Community or Network, esteemed members of the Nigerian Diaspora, partners in development, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. First, I would like to express my pleasure that I join you today at this pivotal virtual town hall meeting organized by the Nigerian and Canadian Business Network, NCBN, in collaboration with Campe Health Plans. Actually, I forgot to even mention my very good friend, Dr. Joseph Olowe, who is the president of Campe Health Plan, which I have met some time ago. Wonderful gentleman. I commend the organizers for creating this platform, which could not have been more timely or relevant. This gathering reflects a shared vision to harness the transformative potential of Nigeria's agricultural sector through strategic diaspora investments. It will be remiss of me not to acknowledge the tremendous work being done by Honorable Abike Dabiri-Erewa, Chairman and CEO of Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM. Her unwavering dedication to strengthening the connection between Nigeria and its diaspora community has been pivotal. Under her leadership, NIDCOM has championed initiatives that foster diaspora engagement in national development, from facilitating investments and remittances to creating platforms that recognize and celebrate the achievements of Nigerians abroad. She has also played a vital role in ensuring the protection of Nigerians' rights globally, addressing welfare concerns, and promoting the diaspora involvement in critical sectors such as healthcare, education, and agriculture. Her tireless advocacy has made it clear that the Nigerian diaspora is not just a community abroad, but a strategic partner in the nation's economic growth and development. Today, Nigeria stands at a defining moment. With a population of about 220 million and projected to at least get to nearly 400 million by the year 2050. Now, 2050 is only 25 years away from today. You could just think about 25 years ago, it seemed like yesterday. Nigeria at that time was 120 million people. Today we're 220. And 25 years ago, like I said, seemed like yesterday. 2050 is tomorrow. And we have to start doing something. And that is where I believe where the vision and also the foresight of His Excellency, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Nigerian Armed Forces, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, had started with his administration when in July 2023 declared an emergency on food security. And then by August 21st, 2023, when we were sworn in as ministers, he changed the name of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development to Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security. And of course, 2 weeks later, on the first day of our Federal Executive Council, he rolled out his 8-point agenda. Number one on that 8-point agenda is food security. And when by the time you look at all the points, especially 5 to 6 points of the 8-point agenda, all had lineage to food security and agriculture, whether it is job creation, whether it is poverty reduction, whether it is economic growth, whether it is inclusivity of youth and women, whether it is access to credit, where you have to have access to credit to farmers and what have you. So at the end of the day, what we had as a ministry, we had a working order, we had a marching order, we had a mandate that seeks to say, listen, whatever you're going to do, get us out of this present challenge that we are facing. So our agricultural sector actually holds the key to the whole and ensuring that food is secured and creating jobs and fostering inclusive economic growth. Today, we define food security as affordability, accessibility, affordability, and availability and consumption of diverse and nutritious food. So we have a new defining definition of food security, which goes to show that from production to consumption of nutritious food is what we are seeking for. So like I said, agriculture remains a cornerstone of our economy. It contributes about 28% of our GDP, according to the third quarter of the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics figures, and also employ about 35% of the labor force. So this sector is not just vital, it is strategic. Nigeria is blessed with, and I think I heard the High Commissioner was talking about the land space that we have in Nigeria, 84 million hectares of arable land. Yet only about 40% of this land is currently under cultivation. But the other key thing that we're faced is our land is shrinking, whether it is from the Sahara Desert from the north, or the southern coastal erosion, or the flooding that occurs in the middle belt. And the most importantly, because of human habitation, because of population explosion. So what we have here today is the biggest threat is that even if we're talking about arable land, the land is shrinking. So by the time we reach 400 million, if today we're having issues of access to farmland, whether it is due to insecurity or flooding or drought or climate change issues, by the time we become 400, then it will be a big challenge for us. So the time to act is now. In fact, we would have started not yesterday, but 2 days ago. But however, we must commend His Excellency, the President, for seeing the issues on the ground and see what we are facing and some of the steps that has been taken within the last 22 months. Well, like I said, we have the possibilities that if we try to see assiduously as quickly as possible the remaining 60% that we have that is untapped, if we can have technology from, of course, from somebody has mentioned the use of, the introduction of technology from the diasporans. That is also one way that we can take advantage of the investments that they can bring so that we can tap into the agricultural potentials and unlock the agricultural growth that we have seen, especially within the last year and a half. So to unlock this vast potential, we must focus on what matters most: food security, job creation, and inclusive growth. These priorities lie at the heart of Mr. President, Renewed Hope Agenda, which charts a clear path toward national prosperity. Central to this agenda is commitment to boost agriculture as a means to achieve food security, a goal that resonates deeply with every Nigerian today. I'm sure our friends in the diaspora are well aware that food prices crashed by 40% within just the last 1 month. That is not by accident. It was a deliberate attempt that the interventions that Mr. President had done through the Federal Ministry of Agriculture to ramp up production. First and foremost, the added support in terms of budget provisions. Then the one that was the big cut out of the bag was the distribution of 2,150,000 bags of fertilizer free of charge. And it was done through the states and also through our data that we have of our farmers that has resonated throughout the country, that has assisted and intervened in the production of food crops in the last both dry season of 2024, early 2023, 2024, the wet season of 2024, and the first part of the dry season of 2024, 2025 season. So we are focused on strengthening agricultural value chains. We're promoting mechanization. Right now, Mr. President has started taking delivery of 4,000 tractors with 16,000 other implements to go with the 4,000 tractors. Each tractor has 4 different implements, from plows to harrows to seeders to boom sprayers and so on and so forth. So we have done that, and then he's also improving access to finance and empowering farmers to scale their operations. Just 2 weeks ago, Mr. President had requested the necessary and have also passed 2025 appropriation bill, where there's a provision of 1.5 trillion naira to the Bank of Agriculture to upscale credit financing to agricultural farmers, both large-scale and small-scale farmers. This has never been done before. This translates to about $1 billion, and we're working out the modalities of how to make sure that those facilities and interventions get what I call, because there's the definition, they say you get to the last mile. We believe that the small-scale farmer today in Nigeria is the first mile. This is where you to start from. This is how you invest in agriculture. You support the small-scale farmer, but you must make sure that whatever interventions that you're doing must be targeted to the small-scale farmer and not the what we call the ghost farmers, for instance, or rather, I don't want to say that, but because I'm a politician, they say political farmers. Can you hear me? Because I can see something is happening on the screen.
Yes, we can, sir.
Can you? Okay. All right.
We can hear you, sir.
Very good. Okay, very well. Yeah, okay, I've been seeing something on the screen, but it's off now. So we today we recognize the unique role that the Nigerian diaspora, especially those in Canada, with over 100,000 Nigerians living in Canada, which is one of the fastest growing diaspora population. They represent a reservoir of expertise, resource, and networks that can significantly boost agriculture investment back home. But I'm happy also when you talk about what TK Ajayi, Toyinkayo Ajayi was talking about, also for us to come and invest in diasporans back home so that they can use the techniques and the expertise that they have to grow and also bring, to invest in those. So that's a way of actually getting foreign exchange for the country. So this is a very noble idea, and I believe we're going to look into it as Ambassador Bolaji has mentioned. So Mr. Ajayi has successfully established a farm cultivating Nigerian vegetables and bringing flavors of home to Canadian market. His journey from leading farming projects in Nigeria to pioneering agribusiness in Canada is the untapped potential for diasporas within the agricultural space. Such initiative not only bridge cultural ties, but also pave the way for future collaborations between our two nations in agri-production, processing, and export. Additionally, platforms like AfriFursa Tech Summit are connecting African entrepreneurs, including Nigerians in Canada, with opportunities in agri-tech. These initiatives are fostering innovation in smart agriculture, sustainable farming practices, and technological integration, areas where Nigeria stands to benefit greatly through knowledge transfer and investment. I'm happy that Dr. Deal was also talking about greenhouse, and this is one of the concepts that we are also participating in. We have a young chap in Shagamu who is doing a lot of greenhouse, soilless. Hello? Okay.
We can still hear you, I
Oh,
believe.
okay. No, I saw something said the host has muted you. So because these are areas where we're looking at so that we can do all your crop cultivation. I'll also cover the gap because horticultural crops, for instance, in the open fields have a seasonal and a cyclical, especially where we have only 2 seasons in Nigeria, dry and wet season. But with the greenhouse, you create an environment that gives you all-round year cultivation. And also, we could also target some of the areas where the soil or the climate may not be conducive, and you create the artificial soil and the climate through greenhouse. And but however, we're having challenges of cost in terms of the materials that we use for greenhouse, the aluminum, the profiles, and so on and so forth. However, we have seen places where local materials, bamboo, local wood, treated wood, local logs, trees, branches of trees are used to make greenhouses, and we're looking at that. Someone is doing with bamboo and is doing very well and much cheaper. But we can also take advantage of what Canada and Mr. Deal and others have to present to us. With this, I think this dialogue, today's invitation to our diasporas and our partners, is a really transformative journey that delivers prosperity both at home and shared value abroad. Following this address, I will take through a presentation that explores an overview of Nigeria's agricultural landscape, highlighting key data, sector performance, and emerging opportunities. Second, why Nigeria is an investment destination of choice. with its large market, vast agricultural resources, strategic location, and strong government commitment. The third area is how to unlock agricultural potential by channeling investments into the upstream, midstream, and downstream sectors, ensuring value addition across the entire agricultural value chain, and also targeted investment opportunities, government incentives available to investors, and pathways for diaspora engagement. And finally, we look at next steps, detailing actionable pathways for investment and collaboration. The Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security has set the stage. Policies are in place, incentives are available, the commitment is clear. You could see the kind of synergy we have between the Commission, Diaspora, Federal Ministry of Foreign Affairs. In fact, just today, this afternoon, we had a forum of Kazakhstan that came, a business community, and the Deputy Minister for Foreign Affairs that came, and we engaged with them, and we also continue to be here for the next 3-4 days. We wouldn't mind such an event with our diasporans coming into Nigeria to physically showcase those areas that are open for investment and show them some of the incentives that are available. This commitment, like I said, is very clear. What it remains is partnership between yours and ours to drive sustainable growth, ensure food security, and unlock prosperity for millions, both for diaspora and for Nigerians at large. Thank you very much. So like I said, I'll now take you through to the presentation that we have. I'm sure it's showing on your screen now. We can see the presentation on the screen now. Can you see it?
Yes, we can.
Yes, indeed. Please continue.
Okay, so I will now talk to the slides that we have. That's on the front page. Next slide. So on this, of course, like I said, agriculture is without a doubt the single most important economic activity in Nigeria. It contributes approximately 28% to our GDP. That's according to the latest report that we have. And that is what we have. We can share some of this presentation with you so that it can be for records even after the presentation, where you could go ahead and look at those areas, because I think I'm running a bit out of time because I have 30 minutes, but it seemed as if I have 10 hours, but I'll soon go on to I'll rush through the presentation, and you will have seen why we need to invest in Nigeria, see the vital role agriculture plays, and also explore those areas and the golden opportunities that exist. You could see the large markets, see where the vast arable land, like we said, 84 million hectares, we have only cultivated 40%. The strategic location, agroecological diversity, and government commitment. Next is, like we continue, is the capital allowance restriction. First, there is the capital allowance restriction. Companies in the agro-allied business can claim full capital allowance without restrictions. In simpler terms, this means investors can recover their capital investments faster, boosting profitability and encouraging long-term commitments. Then we also have the 100% tax relief on capital expenditure, the tax-free agribusinesses, the agro-allied businesses that are exempted from paying minimum tax even when profits are low. Enhanced capital allowances, tax-free processing of agricultural produce, and tax relief for research and development. And so next slide is delivering on this potential requires strategic investments across the entire agricultural value chain, from upstream to through midstream and down to downstream sectors. Upstream, this stage focuses on inputs and production that form the backbone of the agricultural activities. And that is where we have about 90% of the participants as being small-scale farmers. Small-scale farmers with farm holdings of less than a hectare. In fact, the average small-scale holder farmer in Nigeria is 60% of a hectare. So that's about 6,000 square meters size of the farmland. Exactly what we have done today, we have signed an MOU with the National Identity Management Commission, NIMSI, where we're going to register farmlands and farmers. We could, to have biometric. First and foremost, we are going to identify the farmland and then register the farmers on those farmlands. We have seen farmers that are registered as farmers, but they don't have farmlands. And sometimes there's distortion in where they get support from government without actually putting into any productive use. So we're going to reverse the case and give them farmers to have, we're going to support farmers that have actual farmlands for productivity. So upstream is the stage that midstream, it's where investments are about moving beyond raw material production to ensure that agricultural produce reaches consumers in the best form and at the best value. And downstream is the final stage where the revenue potential is fully realized, getting products to local, regional, and international markets. Then the other area that is very critical is investment in the fertilizer sector. Nigeria's agriculture is heavily dependent on fertilizer. And of course, it's because if you remember, I'm sure most of our friends in the diaspora, you remember when we had the shifting cultivation in those days. Today, because of lack of space, lack of land, there is no shifting cultivation happening anymore. So land is being used year in, year out, whether it is 2 cycles or 3 cycles a year. It is normally used, so it loses the fertility that it is required for optimum yield. So dependency on fertilizer has been growing over the years, and it is very, very, it's on the highest level now. However, we are also encouraging the use of organic fertilizer, because right now we have set out a motion in trying to see organic fertilizer. In fact, some of them that not only give nutrients to the plant, but also nutrients to the soil itself. So, but this is an area that I think an investment opportunity will exist. I'll move on to the next one for want of time. Then next one is the another critical component. I've heard someone mention about seed systems and mechanization and extension service. I find people sometimes when they go, they talk about improved seed varieties, but I keep saying that it's not only seed itself, but we also have to combine the other technology in terms of mechanization and also extension advisory services. Today, things like climate change had totally distorted the agricultural landscape. So we need to train the extension service on the new normal, which is adaptation and mitigation of climate change effects. So those are areas that I think we need to look in, especially for seed. I'll just give you an example of seed that we look at variety and hybrid of seeds. Maize is one of our strong staple foods that actually is consumed by both human and animal. And national demand stands at about 20 to 22 million tons per annum, and we only produce half of that. So you could just imagine, and also our yield today, because of the low quality seeds that we have and the low extension services, we are producing right around 2 tons per hectare on maize. But you could just imagine if we could just get good variety, good extension service, good mechanization, and just double that yield per hectare and produce 4 tons per hectare, it means we can actually cover our national demand. So these are the areas that we're looking at so that, to ramp up our food production so that we can be food secure. However, in other areas, sorghum, we're number 2 in the world after the United States. Sorghum is high in Nigeria. Millet is also, we are within our self-sufficiency in millet. We have a gap of about 10% deficit in rice. Of course, we have turned around rice cultivation within the last 10 years, and we have seen tremendous improvement. Even in last year's production, we have produced rice that even when we had the window for importation, we had to midstream cancel that window because we saw the kind of harvest that was coming out in both the dry season and the wet season for rice cultivation. So for next, when you see the red line, this red line shows the steady increase in a growing population. And the green is our food production patterns. Over the last 2 decades, Nigeria's population has surged, like I said, now exceeding 220 million people. And by 2050, we're expected to be 400 million. When we compare the rapid population growth with food production trends, the gap becomes very, very alarming. The graph here shows how grain production has lagged behind population growth, while the demand for food has risen consistently and agricultural productivity has not kept the pace. However, like I said, we have seen when you look at way down where it was negative, but we are also on the negative. This was as 2023, I believe. So yeah, 2023. The reports for 2024 is not yet out, but I'm sure we will see some kind of rise on the grain production as soon as those reports are out. So, but these are the kind of what we're talking about. We're talking about rice yields and maize yields, milk production. Nigeria, like I said, we're doing 1.9 metric tons per hectare. But when you look at South Africa, 6.4. I was in Egypt just a couple of weeks ago, and that was Egypt. It was doing about 8 to 10 metric tons per hectare. So with the significant gaps, Nigeria has approximately, like I said, the 84 million hectares. If we, through some kind of investment in terms of land development, we can possibility of putting the remaining 60% into productive use, the opportunity for large-scale farming, agro-industrial hubs, and export-oriented agriculture is really huge. And we can actually make use of some of the land available. Currently, we have about 3.2 million hectares of irrigable land, but currently only about 200,000 hectares are being farmed. But I think for between last year and some of these figures are maybe behind, but for even in terms of rice cultivation in irrigation areas has exceeded the 200,000. And we have also ventured into, Mr. President has resuscitated with aggressiveness the cultivation of wheat. We have supported almost 120,000 farmers last year. And for this current farming first phase of the dry season, we have supported 200,000 farmers for wheat cultivation. Jigawa State alone is doing about 80,000 hectares on wheat cultivation from 55,000 it did last year. So we are really ramping up on wheat cultivation because we have a huge deficit in wheat between our demand and what is locally produced. We demand about 6 million tons of wheat and only produce less than 500,000 tons. So you could see that big difference in terms of wheat consumption and production. Then this is another huge problem that we have that we can leverage and also give opportunity to our diasporans is post-harvest losses. In some areas, we lose almost up to even as high as 60% in horticultural crops. By the end of the day, when you look at it, we lose almost estimated of about $2.4 billion due to post-harvest losses. And our current storage capacity is only 1.6 million tons. You could imagine and also agree with us that for a country with a population of 220 million, 1.6 million tons of storage, it's really on the low side. And we produce over 30 million metric tons of grains annually. That is even not counting the 60 million tons of yams that we produce and also 50 million tons of cassava. I believe if we close this gap, we could unlock about 4 million metric tons of grains, not only bridging local supply deficit, but also opening doors for the export market. Like I said, some of the horticultural, another area is the issue of tomato, vegetables, and where we have some of the losses are very high. But I believe that we can also take advantage of the opportunities that exist, especially where we can do tomato paste production, dairy production, fruits and vegetable processing, sugar production, and processing. Presently, the current landscape for cocoa production, for instance, this is another area where we have tremendous advantage and also tremendous opportunities. In 2023, Nigeria produced 285,000 metric tons of cocoa, contributing 5% to total agricultural production and generating $906 million in export value. Yet this only translates to 3.8% contribution to national export, a number far lower than it should be, considering the global cocoa market size that stands at $155 billion in 2024. And you can also recall that the price of cocoa in the world market had risen to an astronomical $13,000 per ton. That was another opportunity that we could look at. Presently, there is a bill in the National Assembly that seeks to introduce the Cocoa Board to organize and make cocoa take its place as it had, especially in the 60s, and we're exploring new frontiers. Cross River is going into cocoa production in a big way. And another of the northern states, Taraba State, is also venturing into cocoa production. And those are areas that we believe we can take advantage of the huge value chain that exists in the cocoa and chocolate market. Sesame is also another most sought after vegetable oilseed in the world, widely used in meals, pastes, confectionaries, and bakery products. Yet while Nigeria is a leading producer, we're not fully capitalizing on its high global demand and value-added potential. The global market opportunity is huge. The global sesame market was valued at $5.2 billion, with projections reaching to $6.9 billion by 2030. That's the growth rate of about 4.23% annual growth rate. And Africa accounts for 63% of the world's sesame supply, and Nigeria, with 420,000 metric tons produced in 2023, generated $460 million in export value, contributing 6% to agricultural production and 4% to national exports. However, 99% of Nigeria's sesame export are in the form of raw seeds, with only 1% being processed into sesame oil or other value-added products. This means we're exporting potential profits, allowing other countries to capture the higher margins from processing and packaging. And I also want us to take advantage of that. And if we can seek markets out there, and then we can process it here, we add value to it and create jobs and export so that we can gain the needed foreign exchange. China remains the largest global exporter, accounting for 20% of sesame exports, while India and Japan are also top global consumers. We have listed all the investment opportunities from sesame oil extraction plants to paste and tahini production. Tahini, a sesame seed paste, is in high demand product in the Middle East, Europe, and North America. Sesame-based snack and confectionery production, agro-processing hubs for sesame, and also there are huge export partnerships with Asia that exist currently. Then the next one is ginger. Ginger is highly regarded in the international market for its distinct, our own local ginger, for its distinct flavor and exceptional quality and high medicinal value, which has led to consistently increasing demand. However, despite the competitive edge, we are yet to unlock the full potential of the valuable commodity. Unfortunately, in the year 2023, we had a devastating fungal attack on ginger production that had affected a lot of our ginger products and also affected a lot of our local farmers, especially in Kaduna, Kogi, FCT, and Plateau states. The global market landscape is huge, India is the largest consumer, accounting for over 42%. United States imported $141 million worth of ginger in 2023, while the Netherlands was the top exporter that same year, highlighting the potential for trade partnerships with major markets. So we have also listed those ginger oil extraction opportunities. There's ginger oil extraction plants, ginger powder and spice production, ginger candy and confectionery manufacturing, pharmaceuticals and nutraceuticals products, cold chain logistics for fresh ginger exports, and so on and so forth. Next one is hibiscus. Hibiscus has become, has established itself as a key player in the global market, the Nigerian hibiscus, driven by rising international demand due to the hibiscus health benefits, the culinary uses, and also the refreshment aspect of hibiscus. This is what we call zobo here in the local parlance. The Nigerian hibiscus has been sought after because of its organic nature and lack of chemical additives in the plant itself. So that the biggest market of hibiscus is Mexico, and that accounts for almost about 45% of also hibiscus market in the world. Next is soybean. Soybean also is the soybean accounts for a large portion of the world's protein consumption, both directly in human diets and indirectly through animal feed. Yet Nigeria's potential, we are not fully leveraging the opportunities that it exists for the high demand of this particular crop. The global opportunity is that after producing 1.35 million metric tons, we generated about $246 million in 2023. However, soybeans currently contribute only about 0.4% to Nigeria's agricultural production and 0.2% to national exports. That's a fraction of what is possible and what is available out there. The global soybean market is projected to grow from $17.24 billion in 2024 to $23.7 billion by 2029 at a growth rate of 6% annually. While Brazil, the United States, and Argentina account for 80% of global soybean production, Nigeria is the second largest producer in Africa after South Africa. However, we are still a small player in the global trade, despite having the resources and demand to scale up. And I believe this is also another area that we can take advantage of because of the various value chains that exist in the soya bean. Well, for export future market potential, let's look at where we are today. Like I said, cocoa exports currently bring in about $906 million. Soybean stands at $246 million, sesame at $460, ginger at $69 million, and hibiscus at $68 million. Now let's imagine the future, a future where value addition becomes the norm, not the exception. With strategic investments, these numbers could grow exponentially. Cocoa could surge to $4.2 billion, which is a × 5 increase. Soybean could reach $2.8 billion. Sesame could expand to $730 million. Ginger could skyrocket to $800 million. Hibiscus could rise to $150 million. The power of value addition it's exactly what drives this remarkable growth. It's value addition for ginger, processing, into ginger oil multiplies its value 10 times compared to raw ginger. For sesame, turn it into sesame oil, quadruples the market value by 4%, for 4 times. For soybean, by processing it into soy oil, triples its value. So when you look at it, we can add a lot of value to some of these crops just by adding value locally without having to export the raw materials. So yield optimization, these export investment opportunities, we have the Nigerians, like I said, agriculture yields are currently below global averages, limiting our competitiveness. For example, the average cocoa yield in Nigeria is 0.27 metric tons per hectare, compared to the global average of 0.49. The soybeans yield are 0.96 metric tons per hectare, while globally is 2.61 metric tons. And for ginger, Nigeria produces 7 metric tons per hectare, compared to global average of 10.8 metric tons. This yield gap is an investment opportunity by introducing farming techniques, climate-smart agriculture, and precision farming technologies. We can double, like I said, even by mere seeds, we can double or triple these yields, increasing both domestic supply and export capacity. So what are the next steps? First, we'd like to invite you to take the crucial, I guess I would say the first step, to express the interest. And we welcome organizations to submit letters of interest outlining their potential investments in Nigeria. We aim to also curate the customized deep dive engagements to support some of these investment opportunities. This opportunity to let us know how you would like to be part of the Nigeria's growth story. And the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security is committed to providing the enabling environment, policy support, and incentives for you to succeed. We also look at tailored engagements, and when we also understand that no two investors are the same. That's why we're committed in customizing those engagements to align with your investment priorities. Whether you're interested in crop production, livestock, and by the way, let me just say here that Mr. President, in his, like I keep saying, in his vision, has created the Ministry for Livestock Development with a new minister to take advantage of the huge potential of the livestock value chain, whether it is cattle, dairy, poultry, fisheries, and so on and so forth. So as we are in the transition stage, we still work hand in hand with the Ministry of Livestock Development. You can either reach out to them or you can reach to them through us. And also, if you're interested in those areas, especially dairy and poultry. So our role is very, very simple. We want to ensure that your investment journey into Nigeria's agricultural sector is smooth, rewarding, and impactful. and we want to look at, so where we can focus on our priority areas. So finally, let me just highlight some of the key priority areas, the value chain investments that will drive maximum returns and national impact, the upstream investments. This includes, like I said, primary production, such as crop production, midstream. This is where value addition happens from processing to packaging to storage solutions like cold chain infrastructure, downstream investments. Here we're talking about distribution networks, logistics, marketing, and export trade facilitation. So now I think we have done enough talking. I think I've gone beyond my time, but this is to say, let's build the future together. Mr. President has always mentioned that Nigeria is open to business, and we will take advantage of some of these opportunities, and the potentials are very clear. And with your investments, expertise, and commitment, we can unlock billions of dollars in export earnings, create sustainable jobs, position Nigeria as a leader in global agricultural trade, and this time is the time to invest, and the future is ours. And I welcome all of you for any other interventions or questions or concerns that you may have. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister for Agriculture, Senator Abubakar Kyari, for your insightful speech and workshop. Thank you. We appreciate that. We appreciate your true contribution, and also we look forward to more impactful initiatives like this in the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Arts felt thank you to also all our speakers as well for their tremendous speeches and innovative ideas. Thank you very much. I will now give the floor to Mr. Obina, the president of NGEX, who will be moderating the question and answer session. Thank you. Over to you, Mr. Obina.
Oh, yes. Yeah, thank you, Elizabeth. And
Applause.
Oh.
Applause.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yes. Thank you, Elizabeth, and thank you, Honorable Minister, for the wonderful, insightful, and detailed speech and presentation. I mean, this is way beyond even what I expected, and I think it puts a lot of things in perspective and gives us a lot of opportunity to understand things better. And I like your parting words where you said, "Let's build the future together." And I think that's something that's very encouraging. And I think we as the diaspora are going to respond to that and tell you that, yes, we are committed to building the future together. I'm glad that you are championing that initiative as well. So going to the questions. And so, like I said earlier, please, if you have questions, put them in the chat. We won't be having any voice questions in here. So if you put them in the chat, they can be collated, and then I'll read them out to the minister. Honorable Minister, if we can just start off with you said a lot of things about the opportunity in agriculture. You really talked about where the opportunities are. But one question is, knowing what the diaspora potential is, the challenges they face, the kind of resources they have, and talent. What are the, let's say, top 3 areas that you think are good opportunities for the diaspora to focus on and invest in? And how can the diaspora work with your ministry directly to actualize those opportunities? Is he there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, like I said, like there are no two investors that are the same. We're looking at where the opportunities, someone is looking at how maybe areas of cold storage, for instance. I've seen people sending us requests in terms of developing cold storage driven by solar, for instance, because these are areas where we have challenges, especially the power infrastructure. But we are taking advantage of our renewable energy sources in the country. But like I said, we have areas where we have some kind of advantage in terms of the products. I have seen, even though our production is not high, but soybeans seem to be something that is on the rise. Ginger is also on the rise in terms of production. Cashew, for instance, is something that I think I've left behind, but this cashew that is being exported in its raw form. Today, Thailand is one of the biggest exporters of cashew, but they actually import 80 to 85% of their cashew, but they process it and export it and stamp made in Thailand on their products. But it's mainly coming from Africa. So these are areas where I think we can take advantage of. And also areas like rice processing, for instance. There's a huge gap between rice production and processing. We have the capacity to process maybe about 3 million tons of rice. However, we produce over about 10 million tons of rice annually. And the rest of that difference is being done maybe at the local level. But if we could have huge processing facilities, that would be somewhere there, one of those areas that can be taken advantage. Then we also have one program that is aided by the African Development Bank. It's called the Special Agro Processing Zone, the SAPZ. The first phase is about $500 million. And we have 8 participating states, 7 plus FCT. And in the second phase, it seems to seeks to attract even up to $4 billion in terms of investment. And then we have had 27 states have signified interest. These are areas where we're going to build infrastructure at peri-urban areas where we're going to have production and aggregation and processing. Those are areas that I think it's another window for our brothers and sisters to take advantage of and bring in the required expertise in trying to build up the production and the processing capacity and the opportunities that exist in the agricultural space. And I've just been reading some of the messages. Allow me to just answer one, because I think it's something that is very, very important, and for our diasporans to know what is going on. And I have seen the big question about insecurity. And this is something that I think we need to discuss about, because not only that you will be affected, but even the fear of something happening to you is even in itself something that will be very, very detrimental, and creates fear in investment cycles. And I'm sure people living in diaspora will always have that question at the back of their mind, because we do also, the ones that we are locally situated here in Nigeria. But what we have seen within the last 18 months is we wouldn't have had the bumper harvest that we've had if there was no access, if we have no increased access to farmland, and if there is no increase, the decrease in the insecurity What we have seen within the last 18 months is the commitment of the president and the Nigerian armed forces in trying to tackle the insecurity, whether it is terrorism, whether it is banditry, kidnapping, and so on and so forth, or agitation by separatists and things like that. This year's budget, 2025, I'm sure you're probably aware that Mr. President has budgeted the largest chunk to defense and security. I believe it's somewhere around 6 trillion naira that was appropriated for defense and security. And I'm sure that is a deliberate issue to make Nigeria a peaceful, because if there's no peace, there's no development. And if there's no development, there's no peace. So actually, it's a catch-22 situation that we need to do assiduously work on both sides and to see that that is also mitigated.
Yes. Yeah, thank you for that, and thank you for peeping into the chat and answering that question. Yes, like you mentioned, insecurity is definitely top of mind. But we know it's we're running behind and it's late in Nigeria. But if you can please bear with us, I'm sure you're seeing the questions coming in. It's been a very interesting conversation. So please bear with us while we keep you up for a few more minutes and go through the questions. Some questions came in previously before the session, so I'll just read some of them and then go back into the chat. One question was, is there a policy in place or intended to be developed that can help people in the diaspora facilitate the procurement of agricultural land ownership documentation? Without good legal title, raising of capital for any serious agricultural endeavor is seriously hampered.
Well, land, federal government does not own land. The land belongs to the state. And I'm sure you could see the heightened involvement of state governments, state governors, in keying into President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's food security agenda, that a lot of state governors and governments have risen up. I'm even going to Ekiti State tomorrow morning. I'm leaving at 7:30 in the morning. I just spoke with the governor, and the interest is there, even though he won't be there tomorrow. He'll be attending the inauguration of the Ondo State governor tomorrow in Akure. But we'll go ahead and we're visiting a cassava farm. But generally, what it is that a lot of state governments and governors have opened their arms. I remember at the beginning of this program, somebody had mentioned that Governor of Niger State, Governor Umaru Mohammed Babu, had also come over to Canada and said, look, I have land, you can come and invest. So I have been to huge expanse of land that has been given to large-scale farmers. In Nasarawa State, Olam is cultivating 14,000 hectares of rice fields, and they have a 230,000 metric tons of rice mill processing capacity in a village, where that facility has turned around the livelihood of the villagers. From mud huts to thatch roof, they are now building block houses with aluminum roofing sheets. So you could clearly see the impact of that investment that has turned to the livelihood of the community in those areas. And also for the investor also making money at the end of the day. So we are working together with the state governments. They have shown commitment in trying to give and assist any investor that will come and invest in their state, and things are being worked out. Some states have, in fact, I learned even another state had given farmland worth 50,000 hectares in 2 different locations for an investor to come and invest in large-scale mechanization farming. So it's open. And like I said, we can facilitate at the federal level. We can discuss and talk with them and give them all the incentives that there is within the federal government, whether it is duty exemption, the investment opportunities and what have you. So, and then also connect them with the state governments for the provision of the land. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, thank you for that. Just, and I know you mentioned you have an early flight, so we'll just try to go through the questions. So people in the chat, please bear with us. If we don't get to your question, we'll do a follow-up session later and then communicate the responses. So Honorable Minister, I know I'd asked you earlier, and said in terms of engaging with your ministry, you had said, expression of interest, then followed by tailored engagements, and then you've mentioned some priority areas. But if you look at the diaspora, especially as a block, and saying, okay, it's we're all related. What do you suggest as the best way for the diaspora to engage with your ministry?
Well, first, I would like to go back to my sister, the Honorable Abike Dabiri-Erewa, that had cause to introduce legitimate diasporans to the ministry and had cause to assist them from our own point of view. So I think the first step is some of these organizations that, especially with this, is there's a commission set up to take care of the welfare of diasporans. And I believe the first entrance will be through the commission, through the Federal Ministry of Foreign Affairs or Federal Ministry of Trade and Industry, so that we can collaborate and for us to know precisely this, because sometimes you may be speaking with, you understand what I'm saying, but it has to be some legitimate diasporans. But when we have a platform like this that are legitimate, so that is, you can relate to us and we can also, go through the commission.
Okay. Yes, so thank you for that. Honorable Abike has been doing. So just trying to wrap up here. I know you talked about the livestock ministry and the role of the, I guess, your ministry. If you can just quickly talk about the difference, because a lot of questions come up about that, right? Are they intertwined? How separate are they, and what are the different functions?
Okay. We have about others are statutory departments, but like in the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security before now, we've had something there about 16, about 19 departments, out of which only 2 had gone to livestock, which is veterinary department and also animal husbandry. So poultry is also under animal husbandry, and then veterinary is about animal health, and those 2 departments have moved to the livestock department. Then we also have we had the fisheries department that has gone to marine and blue economy. So what it is that even when I came, I looked at the budget provision of those to do with livestock, the 2 departments. You could see that the emphasis is not there. They were taking only about 5% of the budget provision, and the attention really has not been there. You could also appreciate the fact that the kind of, especially in terms of cattle, in terms of dairy, we have not been able to take advantage of those huge potential that exist in that client. And the way we are doing, like the livestock herding, the herders farmers clashes that has been ongoing because there was no direct commitment in trying to change the way of tending to cattle, where we could also, look at like I said, dairy production in some places, even in Morocco, even in Kenya, we have seen cattle giving about 15 liters, 20 liters a day, while our fully grown cattle could barely make a liter and a half a day. So I think the emphasis and the committed, direct emphasis to livestock and to create the potential of the huge, the value change potential that exists in livestock. We have seen places, Brazil, doing $5 billion a year, one company in livestock. So, and we have the land, we have the grazing, we have the pasture, and we have the technique. I think by the time we develop the land livestock, we'll be able to capture those potentials. So ranching is something that is here and is going to be done assiduously. I don't want to speak too much because that's not my mandate, but it was my mandate. But now there's a new ministry. Like I said, we're in the process. It has been set up. The permanent secretary of that ministry is actually from the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, and all the departmental heads in the two departments have moved also to the Ministry of Livestock Development.
Okay. All right. Yes, thank you for that. It clarifies a lot of things. Sorry, I know it's really late, and thank you so much for staying up with us. Just before we let you go, just one final question. What would you like to have as your legacy as the Honorable Minister? What would you like to leave behind?
Well, sometimes when you are challenged with so many things, let me just give you a brief example of what has happened in 2023. I'm sure you must be all aware in 2022, sometime around October, when government decided to change the currency, the color of the currency. And that impacted on supply of cash. Most of our farmers live in rural areas where there are no financial institutions, no banks. Most of their trade is done with physical cash, whether you are paying farm labor or whether you are paying input supplier, whether you are selling your produce, it's all cash-based. And that October in 2022 was at the point of harvest. That had a disastrous effect on the harvest of 2022, where farmers had to slash the prices of those commodities just to raise the little capital they need to pay the farm hands for harvesting of their produce. Then fast track 2023, right around February, March, there was no cash, and they needed to prepare land and also plant and buy inputs for the 2023 cultivation season. So my legacy that I want to beyond anything else is to turn those smallholder farmers to agri-businesses. I have always said that farmers should not only farm for their stomach, but also farm for their pockets as well. Once we can have access to farmers, the smallholder farmers, and turn them into businessmen, I think we would see the kind of potentials in agriculture that exist in Canada and exist in United States of America. Because what is happening today is farmers are being supported based on the farming cycle. Today, if it's government or if it's an NGO, will give them access to finance, they will give them access to the next harvest. When they harvest, they sell, they pay back. They don't have enough money again to invest in the future, and they're being cycled like that year in, year out. So with what is going on today, like I said, it has never happened in the history of modern Nigeria today that 1.5 trillion naira will be given to the Bank of Agri for onward lending, credit lending, so that a farmer will be given a business loan that will be amortized over a period of time, not necessarily over just one harvest cycle. We have seen, I'm a politician, I have stood for 6 elections. I have campaigned both for my own election and for the general party elections. And every time I go to rural areas, I have seen those places have not changed in the past 50 years. And I dare anybody who comes from a rural area of agrarian area, those farming communities have not changed in the past 50 years. They're still the same. If anything, those that have changed, you will probably see schools that were built by UBEC or TED Fund and so on and so forth. But nothing has changed. The buildings have not changed. There's still poor farmers. And why is that? Where is all the money that is being made from agriculture going to? Why is it not going and impacting on the farmer? Today, the farmer is called the last mile. I look at them as the first mile. I look at those small-time farmers. They should be able to own farmlands. They should have to have their own CFOs on their own farmlands. They should be able to have tractors, whether it is communal, whether it is self or leased, so that they can do their land preparation. They should have harvesters that can do harvest and turn around those farms immediately for the next cycle of cultivation without having to cry to anyone. And I believe that is when I would say, yes, I have achieved something. So for me, we have started doing farmland registration with farmer registration. It's a huge project. We intend to, at least in the first phase, to register 2 million farmers across the country, so that we have a bio data with biometric backed farmer registry. And you will have a NIMSI card that is called the G2P that will have wallets inside. So even if Bank of Agri wants to lend you money, it will lend you into that wallet. And you will not be able to cash that unless you are the one, because you have either your fingerprint or your iris or your facial recognition for the POS to identify that it is you, that you're going to enjoy that intervention and support from government, or whether from the credit facility from the banks. So those are areas that I'm looking at, and I believe will be able to impact on the smallholder farmer, and then turn agriculture around and make it into business.
Wow. Thank you so much, Honorable Minister. Thank you so much, Your Excellency. It's been a wonderful time with you. We've learned so much. We've heard so much from the Minister. Thank you, everyone, for making this a very fruitful and wonderful session. For me, as an IT professional, my comment will be that, Minister, please look in the area of introducing artificial intelligence, more mechanization, and more biotechnology into the agri sector. Thank you very much, sir. On the final note, I want to bring my chairman and president of NCBN, King Wale Adesoya, and Apostle Babalola, to give their vote of thanks. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. My name is Apostle Cornelius Olajide Babalola, the president of NCBN Ottawa Hub. Honorable Minister, Ministry of Agriculture, our Senator Abubakar Kyari, the only Erewa Abike Dabiri that I know, Chairman NITCOM, His Excellency Ambassador Akinremi Bolaji, my brother and good friend, and His Excellency Ambassador Zanna. We thank you so much. Your Excellency, Honorable Abubakar Kyari, we are inviting you to come again, to get ready and get prepared to visit Canada again. And we can assure you, with the presence of Ambassador Akrem, also Ambassador Zanna, a visa to come to Canada. Distinguished guests, esteemed speakers, and all our highly valued participants, I greet you all. As we come close to the end of this highly impactful, informative, insightful, and transformative, I thank you for the time. I'd like to express gratitude, every one of you, for your time, your engagement, and your valuable contribution. May I also seize this opportunity to appreciate my chairman, King Wale Adesanya, and also use this opportunity to invite every Nigerian Canadian who are participating in the platform but are not members of this Canadian business. We invite you all to come and join. May I also use this opportunity to let the Honorable Minister know that the United Nations Country Director for World Food Program is a member of our Ottawa community, but now based in Abuja. I thank you all. May I use this opportunity again to apologize for over 100 who would like to apply but could not. A registration of over 200 and only were able to join. My chair, King Wale Adesanya, he will tell you a little bit more of the concept that the NCBN is taking to get to the next level. I thank you all and God bless.
Thank you
Thank
very
you very
much.
much, thank you very much, my dear Egbon. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Oh,
Please go
sorry.
ahead.
Thank you very
Go ahead.
much. Thank you very much for
Applause,
definitely.
applause. Let's give our brother applause. Please, let's appreciate him.
No, let's appreciate the minister. The minister is, is one of the. I mean, this is the pioneer test run for the Nigerian diaspora business town hall, and he's our first guest, and it's a pleasure to have him. But this wouldn't have happened if not for the comrade ATM, Mr. Anjori, who had the initiative to be able to make this thing happen, and as well as Dr. Lowe, who came to the network and said, look, we should have the minister, to speak to the diaspora people, and with partnership with all the other organizations like, our brothers in the US and in the UK, and with the blessing of the Honorable Abike Dabiri-Erewa, as well as the Director for Foreign Affairs, we were able to to do this all together. So we just want to let people know that without some key people, it wouldn't have happened. This wouldn't have happened for sure. I don't know why my video is not showing, but I'm still going to just say thank you to the minister. We want to see you in Canada. We expect, we are going to formally invite you to Canada because we believe that Canada has a lot to offer in terms of what Canada can. Okay. So I just
Hello,
want to say
sir.
that,
King, sir. Am I being, sir?
yes. Yeah.
Please, can we just take 1 minute to applaud, to appreciate the minister and Mama Nigeria, Mama Diaspora? If you don't mind, I'm sorry to say, please, we need to appreciate them. Please.
Of course, we do appreciate the minister. Honorable Abike Dabiri has always been a sister to us and a partner. Without NIDCOM, we cannot get anything done. And I really appreciate her. I don't know if she's still, Mr. Tarab, are you still on?
Yes, I'm still on.
No, okay. So I just wanted to say thank you. There's no way we can say thank you enough to the minister, for being the pioneer leader. We call this session is more like a tower meeting with the leaders, and he has shown leadership by appearing
Absolutely.
and presenting, and speaking eloquently and speaking, honorably and answering all the questions. And I believe that at this time it's almost about 12 o'clock, and he has the flight to catch tomorrow. So we cannot thank him enough, for staying this long, for engaging with the diaspora people. We know that, he's the brother to us now in the diaspora, I'm sure, and we are going to definitely edit this video and make sure that the people that are not able to be here will see it and they can play it at their own unique time, to be able to get the information. Also, the slides, we will be sending it out to everybody, and we hope that it's going to go viral. We want you all to, take the time, please, to, tell somebody about what just happened today, about the minister's engagement with us and the readiness to partner with us to, to develop and to, encourage investment of diaspora people in Nigeria. So I don't want to take too much of his time. I just want to let guys know that the whole idea about the Nigerian and Canadian Business Network is to be able to be to build bridges between beyond borders. We want to give soft landing to business people that want to basically invest in Nigeria, and also Nigerians that want to invest in Canada. So if you have any, if you are into that, please reach out to us. Check out our website at ncbn.ca, and please, there's no way we can even thank enough the minister. Thank you, and thank you all.
Thank you too, sir. And you too, sir. Thank you for presenting this. Thank you.
Thank you,
And King,
everybody,
your
for
is
your
showing
time.
very clearly.
King Gade.
No, the next one is
thank you, Honorable.
The next one is gonna be in a month. We're gonna do this the last Saturday, the last Sunday of every month. So we hope that you can join us. Thank you, my brother.
Thank you, sir.
By the grace of God, by the grace of God.
Senator Kyari, thank you very much for honoring us.
Thank you, Honorable. Thank you, Honorable. Thank you. It's been really exciting.
Mama Diaspora, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So much, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, my chairman. Thank you, the president of NCBN. Thank you, everyone.
Yes. We will try and facilitate one for healthcare ministry, and we will leverage on our honorable minister to help us with all the connection, so that we can do something along the health ministry and healthcare investment in Nigeria as well. Honorable minister, we need your help.
We need to release that. He has an early program tomorrow morning, this morning now. So we need to, release him. On the final,
Mr. Moderator, 1 minute. Okay. I just want to invite, the honorable senator to be our godfather in this forum. We want to adopt him as our godfather for the diaspora, town hall, so that he can help us to invite his colleague to come and guest here once a month. We will organize this so that so that the diaspora can get to know their leaders, and
I'll
it's
be happy
through
to do that.
communication.
I'll be happy to do that.
Thank you, sir.
I was just reflecting on the kind of feeling that I'm getting meeting our brothers and sisters out there, and I'm sure you also have that good feeling reaching
Oh,
out
yes.
to your government, to your leaders, to see what government is doing and be part of government, because that is the key thing. That is what I'm sure is making everybody excited, and I'm very happy to be the link between you and other of our friends and brothers in the Federal Executive Council.
Thank you so much.
Wow,
Appreciate
thank
all
you,
of
thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
You just
Thank you
made
very
this
much.
wow. Thank you,
Thank you,
Senator.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
can we, while the minister is going, can we allow just one or two announcements?
Okay, sir.
Is that related to this thing? Because we don't want to keep the minister. He has a flight to catch tomorrow morning.
Catching
No,
the
the
morning.
minister, as the minister is leaving, as he's leaving, we are inviting him to come to Canada in October. So
We
he
will
should
do
be
that.
getting ready, and we assure him that we will get him his visa.
All right.
Very good.
Well,
Thank you very
definitely.
much. Pastor, I will also talk with my very good friend David Stevenson, the country director of World Food Program, to come along with me as well.
Honorable Minister, we want you to come to US too. We want you to come to US too. Please come to US.
Don't worry,
Okay,
we will get the minister to speak on the US Chamber business.
God bless you. God bless you.
Okay, guys.
All right.
Okay, guys. Slow down.
Okay.
We have to let it go.
Ladies
We have
and
to let. We don't want
gentlemen,
to
thank you.
overstay. We don't want to. Okay, guys. Wait. Let us just say thank you to the minister, and we want the minister of next month. We will appreciate if we can get the minister of health to be our guest next month, the last Sunday of the month. We will continue to do this. That way, it will be. It will be regular, and we will
Very
expand.
well.
Instead of allowing only 100, we will probably extend it to more
Very
people
good.
to be able to allow. Thank you very much, my brother.
Thank you.
I'm
Thank you very much.
privileged to know you, and I will count on your, mentorship and your partnership in growing this town hall meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, King. Thank you, everybody, and have a wonderful evening.
All right.
For us, it's almost morning, so we're 10 minutes to midnight. So thank you very much. It's been wonderful and very exciting, and we'll continue to have much more of this. And I promise you, I'll have an event sometime in October to come over and visit you in Canada and the United States.
Right.
So I don't want my friends from the United States
Honorable Minister. Thank you, Excellency. It's really nice having you. We're excited.
Thank you, Honorable Minister.
Very happy.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Have a great evening, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. It's been nice. It's been a very wonderful and inspiring session. Thank you to I want to say a wonderful hi to the chairman and our president at NCBN. I want to say a very wonderful thank you to all of the moderators. It's been a wonderful time.
King Wale.
We will continue to have, we're hoping that very soon we'll continue to have sessions like this.
Just 1 minute.
It's a wonderful town hall, and I think it was a success. Thank you, everyone. I don't know if my chairman would like to just say one or two things before.
Good night, King Wale.
Yes.
King Wale, my brother, pastor, everybody. Good afternoon, Los Angeles.
Dr. B.
Yes.
By the way, we miss you. We miss you. We miss your energy.
I know. I joined late. I have like 2 meetings going on. Your meeting and another one here.
But let's prioritize this for next end of the month. You guys know that we're going to start promoting. Yes.
By the way, how are you doing?
I'm fine, my brother.
Hey, brother Sam. Leadership and governance.
I'm
nice
here.
to see you online.
I'm sorry.
Well, it's nice. It was such a very good presentation.
I'm very here, sir, Apostle.
King, sir.
Thank you very much.
I'm
here,
here.
sir.
Yes,
Okay,
thank
so
you.
I'm
calling from
good night. Regards from Jordan.
From Jordan,
Important
can you
shit.
allow Deola to quickly make an announcement?
Please go ahead, Apostle.
Deola,
Yes, sir. Good evening,
can you
everyone.
make the announcement, please, quickly?
All right, and thank you so much, King, for giving us the opportunity to introduce the Canada African FinTech Summit in this forum, right? The Canada African FinTech Summit was designed solely to foster cross-border collaboration in financial technology, innovation, and investments between Africa and Canada. While I know that we are all Nigerians in the room, you also agree with me that Nigeria has played a powerhouse in innovation and economic development or leadership within the continent over the decades. And because of that, we are taking that leading role again. And we are bringing Africans together into the same room in August here in Toronto to discuss how fintechs. Now, take for instance, we are discussing agriculture. I hear that you want to discuss health next month, and there are several things that we are discussing. And you also agree with me that there's a huge part of that leverages on technology. Now, we are talking import and export. How do we want to move funds from one border or one country or one continent to the other? How do we want to ensure that our goods are being tracked? We're going to leverage technology. And because of that, the organizers of Canada African FinTech Summit has thought it worthy to bring people of like minds into the same room in August 2025. And this is us just saying that it would be nice to have you participate at that event. Again, it will not just allow us to show Nigeria or showcase Nigeria as a leader that we have always taken. The FinTech Summit or the FinTech industry in Nigeria is well developed, and we can use that to formulate policies that will be beneficial to us, and then we can also ensure strategic partnerships. The registration is still ongoing. If you visit our website, Canada, or just Google Canada African FinTech Summit, you will be able to register. And if you need anything, contact Apostle, contact King Wale, anyone, contact me, and I will be sure to assist you in registration or whatever questions and answers that you may have. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Is there any other quick
Yes,
shameless
sir.
plug?
Yes, sir. This is Fred from Cincinnati, US.
Hello. Okay, please go ahead.
I'm just so appreciate. This is the first time I'm being exposed to this, and I'm so impressed. This is the kind of thing I've been looking. My question is this, sir. How can you help us achieve similar thing in US? What do we need to do to help to put the kind of organization you have put together in Canada to get this kind of motivation? Because this is so motivational. There are so many people that I know that are willing to go back to Nigeria and invest. However, we've not been able to put ourselves together. So I want to learn from you how we can put this kind of movement, I won't call it organization, movement together to motivate, not to motivate, because they're already motivated, but they want to go, but they don't know how to go about it. So
we actually, my brother, we actually have some partners in the States. We have the US Africa, forum run by Titus Olowokere.
US Africa Trade Council.
We have a US Africa Trade Council that is okay. My brother, please.
Titus Olowokere.
Okay, let me write that one down so that maybe I can.
Too. And we also have our brother. Please go ahead and introduce yourself.
The Nigeria Diaspora Investment Summit.
Nigeria Diaspora Investment Summit that are partnering with us. So we do have a few organizations that we are partnering with, and we couldn't have done this, without their support also. So there's no point. What I've discussed with Honorable Abike Dabiri is that, look, let us come together. Let's make, you will find that we didn't say this is Canada, only. We want to include all the diaspora people so that everybody can work together for a change. So that, once a month, one of the ministers will come out and engage the diaspora as a whole. This is not just a Canada thing. We want to expand it to include everybody, to have all hands on deck. We just happen to be the leader, the leading team that is, bringing this to the people. So please, let's work together. This is not just a Canada, event. We want this to be a global event. And we're gonna be. By the way, please say something.
We need to get in touch with you because
please.
I want this to. It's in Canada already. So
yeah,
sorry, I'm speaking Yoruba.
Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's continue the conversation. By the way, say something.
Yeah, I just want, first of all, I want to appreciate you. I want to appreciate the leadership role of NCBN and of course with our other partners. I know we always work together since the inception of NDIS. We've always worked together, and I'm so thrilled to see, popping up everywhere, some of these activities that are going on to support our nation. As NCBN does this on a monthly basis, I would definitely want to encourage everybody to participate and be a part of it. Actually, not just participate, be a part of NCBN. Work together with King Wale and his associates in how we can move Nigeria forward. We all have the same vision. However, I also want to inform all of you that once a year, actually twice a year, first there is Diaspora Day. But if you are talking about investment and trade within Nigeria, for Nigeria, and for the development of Nigeria, for the social and economic well-being of our people, Nigerians, those that we know we can definitely impact, come to the Nigerian Diaspora Investment Summit. That is the place to be. Let's all come together that November and continue to network. King Wale and I have been networking for years. I have gained so much from the relationship with him, and I'm sure vice versa. He has even sponsored NDIS. So I just want all of us to put hands together and continue to do this together. Let's support NCBN and other diaspora organizations that are doing the same thing that we're trying to achieve. It's all for our country. Hey, I don't know if Trump is going to kick us out of America, but we want to be able to get back to Nigeria and develop Nigeria. Okay, thank you all. Thank you for your time. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
No problem. CTP, do you have you have your hands up? Please go ahead.
Hey, my very dear King Wale, I think my space is covered by my chairman, Dr. Badewa. That's exactly what I wanted to do, because the gentleman who was asking the question from America was talking about investment. So Badewa has just taken care of that. And let me also take the opportunity, of course, to congratulate you on a worthy initiative. And so you've got my backing anyway. You know that anyway. So I wish you all the best. This is a good one, and we'll keep supporting it. God bless Nigeria.
Thank you very much. I mean, we couldn't have done it without each one of you. We will be sending the video out shortly. We will be sending the presentation out from the minister. And in terms of contact, we will also share some of the, we will try and see if there's a channel to communicate directly with the minister. As you can see, he has agreed to be our godfather, in terms of, having the forum, managing this forum. And we hope that, we will develop it, and make sure that, everybody have a role in it. This is going to be more than just, us in Canada. We want everybody. We want our brothers and sisters from the US. We want our brothers from around the world, from the UK and everything. You can see that the minister stayed till midnight with us. This is like incredible. Please let people understand that the crop of leaders that we have in Nigeria are, educated, they are articulate, and they are willing and able to engage the diaspora, so that we all, can find a way to invest in Nigeria and, help our people. Please, don't let us extend this too much. I thank you all from the bottom of my heart, and we'll see you guys the last Sunday of March. Thank you. All right. So you can tell all the people.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.